Most people believe that silence is a sign of weakness. They think that if you aren't answering back, if you aren't fighting, or if you aren't screaming, you have already lost. But at a certain crossroads in my life, I learned a lesson that shook my very soul. I learned that when a person becomes silent and waits for the decree of God, they do not become weak. Instead, they connect with the greatest power in the universe. This is the story of Arian, a young man who spent his entire life in honesty and hard work. He lived in a village where people measured success only by wealth. Arian had a small business inherited from his father, but the cruelty of time stripped everything away from him. His shop burned down, his friends abandoned him, and the villagers began to mock him. "Look at him. The great honest man is now on the streets," they would whisper as he passed. Arian felt the urge to scream back, to tell them it wasn't his fault. But he found himself out of words. He would stay awake at night, staring at the sky, whispering, "Oh God, I never wished ill for anyone, so why is this happening to me?" His weariness was a kind that sleep could not fix. It was a fatigue that had seeped into his very soul. One day, far from the village, Arian sat on a hill where an old woodcutter was working. Arian asked him, "Old father, I work so hard and I have exercised so much patience, but my circumstances only get worse. Is patience just about enduring pain?" The old man stopped his axe and looked into Arian's eyes with a smile. "Son, patience doesn't mean sitting with your hands folded." Patience is the name of that silent certainty that the same God who placed a seed inside the dark earth will one day turn it into a towering tree. You are troubled because you are still trying to fight your own war. You want people to acknowledge your truth. You want things to be fixed right now. The old man picked up a dry twig and tossed it into a nearby river. "Look, this twig isn't fighting the water. It is simply trusting the flow. When you become silent and leave your matter to God, you are no longer alone. God begins to answer on your behalf." 9. The transformation scene. Arian returns to the village. He now smiles at people's taunts and works quietly among the ruins of his shop. Voiceover. Arian returned to the village, but he was no longer the same man. He stopped arguing. When someone insulted him, he simply smiled. He began working again amidst the rubble of his burnt shop. He had no money, but he possessed a silence that was filled with peace. Every morning before starting work, he would say, "O Allah, I have handed my burden over to you. Now it is between you and your decree." Amazingly, when he stopped fighting, his internal energy shifted. A magnetic pull developed in his silence, and people began coming to his aid voluntarily. An old merchant who had once worked with Arian's father passed through the village. He saw Arian's hard work and the serenity on his face. He happened to be looking for someone exactly like that, honest and composed, to manage his large warehouse. Arian's circumstances changed, but his silence did not. He still offers his gratitude to God in quietude. He finally understood that patience is the act of not doubting the wisdom of God. My friends, prayer is not a magic wand that changes the world overnight. Prayer is the key that opens the locked doors within you. When you pray and then wait in silent patience, you are telling God, "I trust you completely." If there is a storm in your life today, if people are pointing fingers at you, or if you feel your hard work is going to waste, stop. Open your clenched fists and lay your burden at the feet of God. Remember, it is only when the soil remains silent that flowers bloom from it. If the soil screams, the seed can never become a plant. Your patience is your greatest strength. God's wisdom is far greater than your understanding. Just trust him, for he never leaves his servant alone.